We are back with another Lord of the Rings game video. With the Fellowship of the Ring looked at, I thought it was a good shout to return to a game that I never finished as a kid, but now older, wiser, and sleepier, we are taking a look at Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. Coming out a year after the final movie game, Return of the King, this game takes a sharp turn away from the linear combat from the previous two games. Third Age is a turn-based RPG following a group of original characters as they adventure through Middle-earth, set within the movie universe. To begin with, the visuals. This game really does a great job at bringing Middle-earth to life, that of the movie version anyway. Throughout the game you'll visit iconic locations, Moria, Rohan, Helm's Deep, Minas Tirith, and the fields beyond. The game allows you pretty free reign of exploration of these locations, which is good fun as it allows you to come across some of the iconic scenes from the movies. Well, it would be nice if the orcs left me alone for 2 seconds. The music is brilliant. It's all taken from the movies, so it's amazing. Battles, exploration, and even the end of battle music is all just made that much more epic because of the great soundtrack of the films. Don't tell the copyright police I played that one. Sound effects are also surprisingly great, all of the hits sound punchy and the magic effects sound awesome. The enemy sounds are all here and they sound great as ever. Voice-wise, the game is pretty good and even has some characters from the films appearing. Though from what I can gather, only Ian McKellen as Gandalf returned to do voice work for this game. Everyone else, they just try and soundboard it. And it works sometimes, but it can sound odd when you know exactly where the line from the film is, but it's in response to something completely different.
My liege, how may I repay you?
You bow to no one.
How may this be answered, my lord?
We gather our full strength and march on the Black Gate.
Clips from the movie are also used quite often for epic scenes, where Mr. Gandalf will just explain what's going on. The gameplay of the Third Age is very much of a classic turn-based RPG style. In the open world, you control your character as you explore classic locations, looking for loot chests, taking in the sights, and the other half of the game is made up of turn-based battles. While exploring the open world, you'll have a little icon at the top left corner. It'll either be the Palanthea or the Eye of Sauron. The Palanthea icon means there's a predetermined battle that you're about to enter, while the Eye of Sauron is the fun ruiner. If you explore too much, the Eye of Sauron will notice you having a lovely time exploring the world and give you a random battle to partake in. Sometimes you can get lucky and enter a zone that resets his watchful eye, so if you're quick enough, you can edge the Eye of Sauron. Once you enter battle, you'll then partake in a turn-based battle with 3 of your party members. In the game, you eventually get up to 6 characters. Berethor is your first character, a knight from Gondor using a sword and shield. He's kind of your main character. Idriel is the token elf lady character, and she mostly uses spells and healing abilities. Hadhod is the token dwarf character, very tanky and does a lot of shielding. Elagast is a human ranger capable of using his arrows for damage or status effects. Morrowind is a Rohan warrior lady who uses dual axes for big damage. And finally, Eowyn is a spearman from Rohan who does use a spear but mainly focuses on the ability to suck life out of enemies or transfer health and action points to teammates, among other things. By the end of the game, my main party consisted of Berethor, Idriel, and Eowyn. Idriel and Eowyn are very good at just surviving, and Berethor is good at helping everyone not get rinsed, but also does big damage. In battles, you and the enemy take turns to perform whatever action takes your fancy. You have a limited number of action points to use, and each ability costs a varying amount to use, so strategy on how you spend these moves is key. The order in which you take turns is on the right hand side of the screen, and I have no idea what dictates this order. I thought, because this is what the game says, was that the speed stat on a character will dictate this, but all my characters had pretty high speed stats across them, but some would go multiple times while some would wait for the following week to act, so I have no idea. The enemy, however, can go as many times as they bloody well please. Can I have a go yet? Can I have a go yet, please? Please, can I have a go? What I did suss out after being pummeled on repeat is that some enemies' attacks stun you, so you basically get stun locked to death. So casting Berethor's Stand Fast ability solves this, until the enemy just keeps going anyway and kills everyone. You can swap out characters for no penalty at the start of a character's turn, so if a character is looking a bit unwell, you can swap them out for someone else at no cost, which I really do love. At the start of the game is relatively easy, with most enemies dying in 1 or 2 hits, but once you hit the later stages of the game, it puts on its big boy pants and fucking pummels you. You fuck up one turn, well, it's game over. Even random battles can get quite tough by the end of the game, and it never feels like it's a super easy ride like some other games, so depending on how you feel, the constant random battles will be better or worse. You'll hit a random battle most of the time and you do have to lock in, it won't be a case of just one-hitting everyone. When you die, you're thrown back to the main menu of the game, and forced to return where you last manually saved. Like most games of this genre, I think, there are save points dotted around through the zones for you to manually save at, and they restore your health and action points, so they can sometimes be handy just to run back to rather than spending your precious potions. Abilities are unlocked through the skill menu, but rather than earning skill points or maybe picking them from a skill tree, you choose what skill to start investing in, and the more you use that category of skill, the more points you earn and you'll be investing to eventually unlocking that ability. Once you hit the end of the game, you'll most likely have everything aside from a few abilities that you may not have used anyway. All the important stuff seems to unlock one way or another by the end of the game. Each character's skills and abilities are all pretty useful and have nice effects to them. Granted, some of them do absolutely chug the frame rate, especially enemy abilities. Some abilities like taking enemy action points I never really used because I didn't fully understand what that would do since I can't see their action points anyway. Some characters do have different categories of skills compared to other members. Berethor has sword skills focusing on melee attacks and leadership skills which allows him to cast buffs on the team, while Idriel has sword skills but also spirit skills, which allows her to use magic to heal teammates, magic attacks, and to help the team in other various magical ways. You can also use the Perfect Mode ability, which allows you to use a super special summon move that deals mad damage. This will build up as you attack enemies throughout, so eventually you can unleash an Ent on the enemy or a barrage of arrows. This only builds up upon a hit, and my god, these characters are missing machines. I have never missed so much in a turn-based game. I had Legolas miss a ladder. A ladder. I also had my team miss the fucking elephant monster multiple times. How? The elephant also took its time to move back like it was a sick dodge move it just pulled on me. Missing in this game is so maddening because you just burn a turn and points and get punished for it. It makes me very upset. You do also get items throughout the game from chests or fights, and for the most part the healing items are incredibly useful, while items that give me more blunt defense I never really used. The item to completely remove an enemy's armor though, incredibly helpful. So I'm glad I looked up help from people from 20 years ago. Through the game you'll sometimes be accompanied by a main character, like Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Gandalf, and some more characters. They will have fat health bars and powerful abilities to aid you in battle. These normally crop up during important moments in the story such as Helm's Deep or the Mines of Moria. Obviously there are boss fights you'll encounter in the game, most of them take the form of an enemy from the movie. You'll be fighting the Balrog with Gandalf, the Watcher outside Moria, the Witch Queen, and even the big man, or I himself, Sauron. This one caught me off guard because, well, what the fuck, how? The boss fights never gave me too much trouble, mostly just a case of surviving their big damage attacks and not being a spurg, and eventually getting their colossal health bars down. At the end of each battle, you also gain XP, and not just for active characters, but for all characters, which is great for keeping them up to speed with the rest of your main party. With each level, you earn points to invest into various attributes, and to begin with I felt fairly confident that I knew what I was doing, but by the end of the game, I don't think I did. As at the end of the game, no matter what I put into different places, nothing seems to change a whole lot. Characters that I hadn't put very good armor defense items on, but they had very high health stats, were just getting blasted in one shot by the end of the game. So I felt like I was very much locked into 3 characters by the time I was making my way through the end of the game. Most of the effectiveness comes from gear found throughout the world or battles. You can get various armor pieces, weapons, accessories, and elf stones. The armor and weapons look great. Depending on where you are in the story, there'll be recognisable items such as the Rohan weaponry or the Gondorian armour. Going out of your way to find the chests is worth it, as it's normally quite a substantial upgrade on your current gear. The story of the game follows that of the movies, but a team that is constantly playing catch up. All the way through the game up until Minas Tirith, you are behind the main cast, which does sometimes offer up unique perspectives on battles or moments. The best example of this is a moment in Moria where Pippin knocks the stuff down the hole, and in this game it lands next to our party. You can also see the Balrog moving up the wall after hearing this, so it's kinda cool to see moments like that.
Wait, I see something. What do you say to this, dwarf?
That would be a key to a very important item. Something kept at the throne room. Perhaps a book of secrets.
Can you lead us there? Time is running out!
I think we have found more than we bargained for.
It is a Balrog of Morgoth!
We must master our fear. Follow that creature. It is our only way out.
It is no use. The path is destroyed. We must fall back and find another way.
Though it is also odd when, because the game obviously wants you to partake in iconic battles, so you'll turn up to fight the Balrog with Gandalf, but obviously in the movie he didn't have 3 random characters there with him. The battle against Sauron also just comes out of nowhere. Aragorn tells you we'll march on the Black Gate, and then boom, we're on top of a tower hitting a giant fireball eye with swords. So I don't really think they knew how to end it with our main cast. The story itself does have its own moments and twists and turns, mainly involving Mr. Berethor, but it's all tied with pretty much following the main fellowship, but a few minutes behind them.
A few trinkets. That is all that remains of my life here.
Overall, I think the Third Age is a very cool Lord of the Rings game. Exploring the locations is great fun, the battles are fun and challenging, but the fun of exploration is hindered by the constant battles that makes you want to not explore anywhere. It's a fun enough time, and I just wish we got more Lord of the Rings games like this and other genres nowadays. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.